everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the 3 parts to selling a home. Before you do anything, before you pick up a paintbrush, before you buy a bucket of paint, the very first thing that you need to do is find yourself a good real estate agent. Find a real estate agent who's familiar with the area, who can give you an accurate idea of price range, and who has some pretty creative marketing strategies behind them. Once that is done, meet with your agent, determine your needs, your goals for the sale of your home, and then get started with the prep. Every home, regardless of its condition or its age, does need prep work to get ready to show. And a real estate agent will help you determine what prep work, what renovating is worth doing and what is not worth doing at all. And within that, what renovations require higher end finishes, and what doesn't really require higher end, what you can go medium end and low end. So for instance, if your kitchen needs some updating, a real estate agent will help you determine whether it's the counters that need to be replaced, whether it's the fixtures, whether it's the cabinets that need to get painted, and where on the high end to low end scale you should be spending your money. Once that is done, a real estate agent will then do a market analysis of your home. And what that is just a snapshot of what homes that are similar to your home are going on the market for and selling for in your neighborhood. So a market analysis really is just a snapshot of a moment in time. And that could change, 3 months down the road. So it's important that a current market analysis is done on your home so you know where in today's market your home should be priced at. Okay, so once you've hired your agent, you've done your prep work, and you know where about your home is going to sell, the next step is to get professional photos done. If an agent walks into your house with their iPhone and says, "Oh, I'm just gonna take some photos," march them right out the door. They should be getting a professional photographer who will also offer a floor plan and a drone photo if needed, and they should be footing the bill for that. Professional photographers know what lighting, what angles, and all that other fancy stuff. They will also do a floor plan, which is crucial because you really can't get an idea of flow of a home with just looking at pictures. And if your home is situated near a beach or the city or something that's interesting, or the property itself has some unique features to it, a brook running through it, for instance, then drone photos are a must. The next step is to do all of the research in getting the information, accurate information on the home. And that means age of mechanicals, age of roof, what updates have been done to the home, were hardwood floors done, were new windows put in, all that kind of stuff, so that the listing sheet will be accurate and show all of the work that you've done to your home over the years that a buyer will be interested in knowing about. Once that is done, you are all done with step 1. And just a note about step 1, step 1 could take 1 week, it could take several weeks, it could take several months, depending on what is needed to prep the home, will dictate how long each step takes, or step 1 rather. Step 2 is when your home goes live. So the sign gets put on, the MLS listing goes live, and open house is marketed. This step in the listing process is where your agent begins to market your home, does an open house, sends out email notifications, online advertising, social media campaign, lets the neighborhood know what's going on, and really pushes and markets your home. Basically letting everyone know that your home is on the market and why buyers should be interested in looking at your home. Highlighting all of the beautiful features of your home and what makes your home unique and stand out amongst all the other homes that are for sale in your town. And this is where having a creative marketing strategy in place will help your home stand out from other homes. And this is something that you should be looking for in a real estate agent. How strong are their marketing strategies and how creative are they? This step here is also where, if any offers come in, the negotiating process happens. And what your real estate agent does is negotiate on your behalf with the buyer and their agent, their representative. And in negotiating, there are several parts, and that could take several days. There are contingencies to negotiate. There is price, of course, to negotiate. Any concessions, that sort of thing, may get negotiated at this time. But once negotiations are done and you have an accepted offer, it is then time to move on to the second part of step 2, and that is taking care of all of the contingencies. In the second part of part 2 is where you're dealing with perhaps an inspection contingency, radon, pest, and mortgage contingencies. An inspector comes in and looks over the home and goes through the home with a fine-tooth comb and just pointing out things about the home that the buyer should know. And some of it is just like general maintenance stuff, so there might be leaves in the gutter and the inspector might say, this is something you need to do on a regular basis, clear off the leaves in the gutter. Some of it is also findings that may be of concern to the buyer. Some sign of a structural defect or something like that. This is where the inspector lets the buyer know and offers maybe possible solutions and that sort of thing. And this is where the buyer can ask questions to the inspector just to gather more information about the home. And the inspection is done. The inspector typically sends back a report within 24 or 36 hours. And this is where it can be very overwhelming. Both the buyer and the seller really need to be educated around the inspection report. Once the inspection report is done, the buyer and the agent have a chance to review it. This is where negotiation part 2 happens. If there is something that is of concern to the buyer and their agent will discuss it and then come back to the seller with a concession or asking the seller to fix something prior to close or something like that. So again, negotiating kind of starts all over, and the agents for both the buyer and the seller, this is where they advise their clients on what to do. So for example, if a faucet is a little leaky, right? That's not something to go back to the seller and ask the seller to replace. If that leaky faucet has caused a ton of water damage or there's signs of mold or something like that, that is a different story. That may be cause to go back to the seller and ask the seller to fix it, some sort of concession. So let's say inspections happened, we renegotiate, we've come to a decision on any fixes that need to be made. The next step is the mortgage contingency, and most people will require a mortgage, and that is where the buyer then needs to be approved for a mortgage. And why is this important to the seller? Well, it's important to the seller because if the buyer does not get approved to the mortgage, the deal can't go through. And it's important to the seller because if the home doesn't appraise, which an appraisal is required for a mortgage, then the home won't sell. Or you then need to go back to the negotiating table and negotiate the price again. This is the most sort of stressful part in a home sale, is having to deal with all the contingencies. However, once all of that is done and the mortgage company has given a clear to close, we move on to step 3. Step 3 is the fun part. Step 3 is the final walkthrough that typically happens the day before or the morning of the closing. And this is where the buyer, the buyer's agent, and the seller's agent all take a final walk through the house. This is where the buyer can make sure that if anything the seller needed to do to the home is complete. And this is where the buyer can make sure that the home has been broom swept and that, the cans of paint and the hazardous material and the leftover furniture and all that has been removed from the home, so that the home is empty, the home is clean, and the home is ready for the new buyer. Once that is done, it is time to close. So for the seller, it's a little anticlimactic because you don't have to be there for the day of closing. Your attorney or title company will have you sign all your documents ahead of time. So on the day of close, sort of the seller's done with everything they need to do. But the buyer isn't. This is where the buyer sits down with the attorney or the title company, signs all of the documents, and finally is given the key to the new home. And that is really it. That's the most exciting part. And that is the fun part for me as an agent representing a seller or a buyer, is having them walk through the whole process and getting to the finish line. So those are the 3 basic parts to selling a home. A lot of things in between there that I didn't talk about, but those are the 3 major parts. If you have any questions about the home sale process, I'm happy to chat with you, answer any questions that you might have. And if you are looking to buy or sell now or 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now, I'm always happy to chat. It's never too soon to start that conversation. And my contact information is down below. Please reach out anytime. If you like this video, I would love a thumbs up. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel so you'll be the first to know when new videos pop up. Thanks so much and see you next time.